Yes, Narendra Modi.
Thank you, Honorable Secretary. And I was particularly touched by the fact that this has come from the camp office in Nigeria, where the Prime Minister is on his way to the G20 summit. And Minister, I'm sure that with your persuasive powers, the next edition will witness the Prime Minister at the dialogue itself. So thank you, Mr. Prime Minister, for your message and for your encouragement. We are delighted to welcome you this morning for a conversation with the Honorable Minister. Like I mentioned, he spoke to us last evening. He had a brief discussion with some experts over dinner. And today we thought it might be useful to ask him some questions and perhaps some of his ideas and thoughts on this particular sector. So, Mr. Minister, with your permission, let me pose the first question to you. The Prime Minister is clearly very determined to change this sector. You are working with him in the transformation of this sector. What are the key priorities that you have for this sector, and how are you and the Prime Minister visualizing this change?
First of all, I am sincerely thankful to our Honorable Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi ji, for his message to this great event. And I believe through his message he has inspired all of us participating in this historic event, because this is first time happening, Sagarmanthan, the Great Ocean Dialogue. And everybody, whoever is present here, all the participating nation, I am really delighted to see you and also your active cooperation since yesterday. And you have been so positive, so cooperative even during the roundtable dinner. That time also, I have seen your, energetic participation, positive participation, and everyone is trying to contribute in the best possible manner to make this event a great success. Anyway, as you know, our sector, port shipping waterways, this maritime sector is, one of the fastest growing sector in the country because of Honorable Prime Minister's vision and his dynamic leadership. And it is he who has guided right from the beginning. And in the last 10 years, we have seen the transformation the people of the country have rightly experienced it, and ultimately we could able to create many more success stories. And due to the modernization, mechanization, digitization, all the transformation is happening in the country. Now our priority, we want to become, as per the Honorable Prime Minister vision, $10 trillion economy in the world. So to achieve that target, we'll have to create the ground for our faster growth in this sector. That is why this particular event is going to help us a lot in how many strategic sector we need to put many more effort to make every sector a world-class level. So to carry the entire sector to that extent, we are giving preference for modernization, sustainability and innovation. And whatever available potentialities we have, first of all, we have to take the best advantage of it. We have to explore in the best possible manner, so that out of that available resources, we could explore in a better manner to our speedy growth. And as our Honorable Prime Minister is always inspiring us by using two specific words, speed and scale. In every approach of our ministry, there should be this particular two, strictly maintain speed and scale. So, but speed and scale must also have the element of quality and credibility. So that's the way the entire approach is now put into the right perspective.
Minister, there is a expectation and there is an Indian aspiration to become a shipbuilding capital of the world, to invest in this particular sector, to be part of the supply chains that create the fleets for the future. What sort of investments do we need? What is the policy enabling environment that we are creating to become a destination for shipbuilding?
In this particular sector, as you know, we have already one of the most credible unit, that is Cochin Shipyard Limited. And they have, performed in a very, very visible manner by manufacturing one of the largest warship in the world. So that is indigenous aircraft carrier, INS Bikram. So by manufacturing that level of warship, now you could imagine the best possible way of generating self-confidence to make India self-reliant tomorrow. So this is the way, even that is in Cochin and Masgaon also, that is also a naval and commercial, shipbuilding builders. So these are the, ecosystem we have already developed, but in the near future, like whoever are in the front runners in the shipbuilding in the world, we want to also associate with them. And by creating Maritime Development Fund, we want to give incentive to the shipbuilders tomorrow. And also for this ground level preparation, we have already started creating kind of clusters for shipbuilding and ship repairs across the country. So this is coming up fastly. So that's the way we have the vision to make India one of the leader in the shipbuildings.
You certainly use the word partnerships. So in this particular regard, as we create new trade routes because of the materials and minerals and metals that we need, and because of geopolitical and climate change reasons, in your view, what are the kind of collaborations and partnerships that are needed? And what do they entail? What do we need to do to make them happen?
Yeah, it's a strategic partnership is always required. And as you know, I have already said that whoever is particularly in these sectors created already a success story. And we are interested to build up our relationship with them. Also, through collaborative efforts, we want to make the entire ecosystem competitive enough to compete with the best shipbuilders in the world tomorrow. So India, we want to become the shipbuilding capital in the world tomorrow. So these are the, future vision plan we have. And that is why all kind of modernization, mechanization, digitization, technology, investment, everything will be put into the right perspective so that this particular vision can be met fulfilled.
And this maritime fund that you're creating will be available to these partnership arrangements?
Of course.
So as an incentive for...
Yeah. So this is to encourage the shipbuilders.
Excellent.
And also that is why the infrastructure, whatever quality infrastructure, same size of the ship, need to be accommodated in our infrastructure. So that level of facility will be incorporated into the whole approach.
So what we have done for the mobile phones, we want to do for the shipbuilding industry.
Yeah, of course, because in the recent past, we have already developed one beautiful infrastructure in Cochin for ship repairs and also shipbuildings. So that is the way a lot of facilities we are going to improve in the entire, the coastal lines.
Minister, the Prime Minister has also spoken about sustainability. You mentioned it twice in your speech yesterday. There is an issue of sustainable tourism. Then there is also an issue of unfair practices on the seas and exclusions. Now, how are we going to democratize this industry as such?
Look, as you know, we have to combat the climate change, So that is why we are always interested to develop a beautiful, eco-friendly, seamless movement of our cargo and vessels. So that is why India is developing, the hydrogen hub across the country. So this is the way the eco-friendly environment needs to be improve so that like in the near future, sustainability will always, it would be, the entire movement will be sustainable and it would be eco-friendly. Nowhere it will affect the environments. So that means, yes, I have quoted yesterday, economy will grow
With ecology.
along with the ecology. So ecology will not be affected out of our approach. So that is why, whether it is hydrogen, like, kind of fuels, ammonia fuels, all kind of, the green shipping, green port, green transition, all being put into the right perspective so that like whatever vision plan we have developed, that could be fulfilled.
And what about creating standards and labor rights and protecting workers on seas?
Look, we have the institutional mechanism also, we have the policy also, so that like, whatever skill is required for our youth to operate the bigger vessels in the sea, and also to overcome the bigger challenges across the sea and oceans. So that is why all kind of most sophisticated advanced technology will be taught to our young generation so that they could become the most competent, the merchant and sailors and all, so that they could be accommodated anywhere in the world. And even the leading global players will prefer to have the Indians like seafarers into their ship because of their quality and credibility.
And what about wages and labor rights and protecting them?
Because of course, we are always interested to protect the interest of the seafarers. So that is why all kind of ecosystem have already been developed in the country.
Okay. Minister, let me ask you the last question. Particularly since yesterday we had a speaker from Inland Waterways also. How do we connect such a vast country like India, which has many states which are not connected to the oceans? How are we connecting them to this? How are we unleashing their potential by connecting them and creating multimodal transportation to make them reach the oceans?
It is also one of the biggest advantages for us because India is having the total length of more than 20,000 kilometers of inland waterways. So that river system is very much there in India, and that is also one of the bigger investors for us to conduct interstate trade and commerce, and also to develop our coordination, cooperation to each others. So that is why all kind of legislative transformation we have brought into place. We have brought the Inland Vessel Act, so that like from one national waterways to the other national waterways, from one state to the other state, you need not have to go for this license certificate time and again. One certificate will help you to move across the country. So this is the legislative transformation we have placed into the right perspective. And also, now in the last 10 years, whatever success story it's been created, before 10 years, the cargo handling capacity in the national waterways only limited to 30 million metric ton per annum. Now it went up to 133. That is a jump because we have developed the infrastructure, jetties, terminals, and also with our appropriate dredging policy, now the appropriate draft depth is always maintained. Assured draft for the cargo vessel, passenger vessel to have their simplest movement in the river system. And also we are encouraging the river cruise, right? As you know, that 2021, under the dynamic leadership of Honorable Prime Minister, the MB Ganga Vilas, that river cruise, for the first time in the world, longest river cruise crossing the length of more than 3,200 kilometers and overcoming more than 27 river system from Banaras to Dibrugarh, from National Waterways 1 through Bangladesh Protocol Road to National Waterways 2 Dibrugarh, uppermost part of Assam and Northeast India. So that is the success story. That is regarded to be the world's longest river cruise, ultimately carrying 32 Swiss passengers. So this is the success story we have created. And out of the success story, you could able to motivate the others investor to come and also put their like cruise into the river system, ultimately generating the tourism potential.
Correct.
So this is the way we are trying to explore the available resources in our national waterways. We have altogether at present 111 national waterways. Out of these, 24 are operational. And in that operational waterways, now the cargo handling capacity is increasing day by day. Because all the infrastructure, both bank of the rivers, all the infrastructure, jetties, community jetties, passengers jetties, and also cargo terminals, all this multimodal kind of logistic park, all been developed. So this is the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, which has helped us to take the river system equally as we are taking coastal shipping or ocean cruise or ocean like exim trade. So this is the three like sectors: exim trade, coastal shipping, and inland waterways. And through this Sagarmanthan program in the last 10 years, whatever changes and modernization, mechanization, transformation taken place, as a result, this sector now playing a key role in the faster growth of our national economy. So this is, I must, without any hesitation, I must admit that it is Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi whose untiring effort is happening. This is happening in the country. And now we are aiming to become top 5 nation in the shipbuilding by 2047 and top 10 in the next 2030. So these are the vision we have placed into the right perspective so that right from whatever we are doing today and tomorrow will also be moving in the same speed and scale in all the sectors of maritime industry.
I think this is a fantastic note to conclude this morning conversation. I think, Minister, you have outlined a vision for connecting India to its neighbors, and connecting India to the world. And more importantly, unleashing a whole new sector which will employ multiple young people and create an Indian brand across the global landscape.
Of course, and I always consider water to be water to wisdom, water to weather, water to wealth, water to the world.
Excellent. That's a
So
perfect.
this is the opportunities provided by Waterways. So like the human being
Please
on the
join me.
planet Earth.
Thank you so much, Minister,
best
for your
possible
time this
manner
morning.
should explore.
And thank you for your leadership in making this happen.
Yeah.
And we hope to have you back with us next year with more news and more investment decisions that would have shaped this particular journey you have decided to embark on. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in applauding the Minister for
Thank
his
you.
intervention this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us for the opening in conversation of today with the Honorable Minister. Please remain seated in your seats. We will start with the next session shortly, which is a very exciting speed talk on the climate crisis. We're just moving the stage. Please remain seated. We will be starting it in the next minute or so. Our speaker is already there with us. We're just rearranging the room.